If you're waiting for Palm Beach County to finally crash, I get it. The headlines have been loud for years. Prices ran up fast, rates jumped, insurance got messy, and condos have been under real pressure. So here's the real question for 2026. Are we heading for a crash? Are we still in a bubble? Or is this market just going to keep doing that frustrating thing where it cools off without actually breaking? Today, I'm going to answer that by looking at what the market is doing right now. Sales, inventory, days on market, and price behavior. And then I'll walk you through the 3 paths that this market can take through 2026, including what would actually have to happen for a true crash. I'm Joel, a real estate broker here in Palm Beach County, and I help people relocate using a very hands-on, data-driven process. Before we go any further, let's define these outcomes in plain English. A crash is a forced selling. It's job losses, distress, and a wave of inventory hitting all at once. And prices dropping fast because sellers don't have a choice. A bubble is different. That's when prices get disconnected from what incomes and financing costs can actually support. And the market stays elevated mostly because optimism keeps winning. A soft landing is the in-between. Sales slow down, sellers negotiate again, inventory rebuilds, and prices drift flat to slightly down in some pockets, while up in others without the whole thing collapsing. Now, when you look at Palm Beach County going into 2026, the clearest takeaway is this. It's no longer the 2021 frenzy, but it's also not behaving like a market that's falling apart. In the latest full month of county MLS reporting, single-family homes in Palm Beach County posted a median sale price of about $605,000. That's basically flat to slightly up year over year. What's more interesting is that closed sales were up compared to the same time last year. That's not a crash signature. That's demand showing up, selectively, but still showing up. At the same time, the pace is slower, and that matters. The median time to sale in that same MLS report was about 85 days. Redfin's county level view in that same general period showed days on market up in that same range and only a small share of homes selling above list. So buyers are taking their time. They're not panic buying. They're not giving up everything just to win. That's cooling. That's normalization. And here's the important point. Cooling and crashing are not the same thing. A market can feel dramatically different without actually breaking. Next, let's talk about inventory, because inventory is where crashes are born. Palm Beach County single-family inventory was around 5,600 active listings with about a 5-month supply. In real terms, that means that we're not looking at inventory exploding, we're not looking at listings flooding the system all at once, and when you combine that with prices staying relatively steady, you get a market that's easing pressure, not collapsing. Now, to make this useful, we have to talk about the fact that Palm Beach County is not one market. It's multiple markets living within one geographic area, and in 2026, the split that matters most is single family versus condos and townhomes. Because condos and townhomes have been in a very different environment. In the latest MLS report, condos and townhomes had a median sale price of around $320,000. But the big number is supply. Months of supply was around 9 months. 9 months of supply is a completely different world than 5 months. And that's where you see more negotiating, and that's where you see a lot more price cuts, and that's where sellers are competing harder for the same pool of buyers. And there's a reason that this segment is struggling right now. Florida's post-Surfside condo rules, inspections, reserve funding, repair timelines changed the financial reality for a lot of older buildings. Even when lawmakers adjusted timelines or added flexibility, the market impact doesn't disappear overnight. Buyers became pickier, lenders became stricter, and a lot of owners started doing the uncomfortable math on dues, insurance, and potential assessments. That's also why you'll hear people say Palm Beach is crashing, and then you zoom in and you realize they're talking about specific condo buildings or a specific older communities, not the market as a whole. Now let's talk about mortgage rates, because rates are the temperature gauge on demand. As of early January 2026, Freddie Mac had a 30-year fixed rate just over 6%, down from about close to 7% a year earlier. That doesn't make homes cheap, but it does change the behavior of buyers. When rates stop surging and even drift down a bit, buyers tend to re-enter in waves. Not everyone, not everywhere, but enough to keep a level of buoyancy in prices in the most desirable supply-constrained areas. And Palm Beach County still has a lot of those areas, especially in the single-family side. The shift is that buyers now have leverage and sellers have competition again. There's also another stabilizer here that a lot of people overlook, and that's cash. Cash sales were around 40% of closings, and in condos and townhomes, cash was even higher. Cash buyers don't make a market invincible, but they do make it harder to crash in the way a heavily leveraged market crashes, because fewer owners are forced into a sale by a change in mortgage payment like we saw in 2008, for example. So where does all this leave us? If I had to pick a label for Palm Beach County as we go into 2026, based on what the market is actually doing, it's probably a soft landing, with a few areas cooling faster than others. Not a clean, dramatic crash, and not a county-wide bubble popping, more like a soft landing where some segments are doing more of the adjusting and other parts of the market stay steadier than people expect. So in light of all of this, there are three paths that I'm watching for the rest of 2026, and each one has signals that the market will give us if you know where to look. The first path is a soft landing, and that's still the most likely here. Under this path, sales stay choppy, inventory gradually rebuilds, and prices move sideways. You might see some neighborhoods still inch up, especially where there's limited supply and strong demand. You might see other pockets drift down a little, especially where listings stack up or homes need work. But the defining feature is that things cool without snapping. You'll recognize this because days on market stay elevated, price reductions remain common, and months of supply rises slowly rather than suddenly. In other words, it's not chaos, it's just a slow rebalancing. The second path is what I call a rolling correction, and it tends to be condo-led. This is where single-family homes stay relatively stable, but condos, especially in older buildings, reprice more meaningfully. When you're already sitting around 9 months of inventory, it doesn't take much to tip certain buildings into a buyer's market where discounts become normal. If more listings hit, if assessments keep making headlines, if financing gets tighter, you can get a multi-quarter grind down in pricing on specific micro markets. That's not the county collapsing, that's the condo segment reacting to market realities. The third path is a true crash, and I'm not seeing the ingredients for it right now, but I'm always watching for the triggers. A real estate crash needs forced selling. That usually comes from job losses, a sudden spike back up in interest rates, or a surge in distressed inventory. Markets don't crash because people feel nervous. They crash when owners can't hold. And right now, what we're seeing looks more like selective demand, slower transactions, negotiating returning, and inventory rebuilding, but not exploding. So what do you do with this if you're thinking about buying or selling this year? If you're a buyer in 2026, you're not late. You're early to a normalized market and you have time. You can negotiate and you can ask for repairs. You can be picky again, but the move is to be precise. Don't think of Palm Beach County like it's one market. Think of it by property type, HOA health, building age, insurance realities, and how long listings actually take to sell. In a split market, the best deals tend to show up where pressure is concentrated. And in 2026, we're seeing that more often on the condo side. If you're a seller, the strategy is the opposite of the last cycle. You don't test the market right now. You meet the market where it is. Homes that are priced right still move because buyers are here, but they are patient now and they have options. Pricing, presentation, and condition matter again, and if you're competing against other listings that have already done reductions, you have to be honest about where you sit in that lineup. And if you own a condo in 2026, it is the year to treat your building like a business. What are the reserves? What's the inspection status? What are the future assessments, the insurance requirements, and the buyer pool that can actually finance in your building? Those details are no longer background noise. They are real and will affect the sale price of your condo. So to summarize all of this, Palm Beach County isn't giving us a simple headline. It's giving us clues that lead to outcomes. The market is cooling. The condo segment is under real pressure. Single family is steadier than people expect. Rates aren't friendly, but they're also not increasing like they once were. So if you're asking crash, bubble, or soft landing, my answer for 2026 is soft landing with a split market, and the opportunities are in the spread. And that's the key. In 2026, the winners aren't the people trying to time the market perfectly. It's the people who understand which part of the market that we're actually in, and then make a smart move with the leverage that exists right now. If you want me to break down a specific city, neighborhood, or even a particular condo building that you're looking at, drop it in the comments and I'll use it for future update. And if you want more Palm Beach County market breakdowns like this, make sure that you're subscribed because I'll be tracking the data and translating it into what it means for real buyers and sellers in Palm Beach County. I'm Joel, your Palm Beach real estate broker, and I'll see you in the next video.